Now, usually when a car company facelifts a vehicle, they slap on a few new aesthetic parts, give it a new nose, and then they call it a brand new, all-new car. But that's not what this Polestar model year 2024 is all about. It's got quite a few new upgraded bits, but let's find out what they are. Now, today's episode is made possible by Sgcarmart Smart Loan. Sgcarmart Smart Loan is designed to save you time and money through a digitalized loan application via MyInfo for your used car purchase at below market interest rate. For a limited time only, get $500 cashback and a 6-month Kindle membership worth $1,200 when you apply for a loan today. To find out how much you can save when buying a used personal or private hire car, click on the link in the description below. Now, let's get back to the review. The Polestar 2 model year 24 is priced at $320,000. The dual electric motor produces 469 brake horsepower and 740 Newton meters of torque. The single-speed transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.2 seconds. The 82 kilowatt-hour battery has a drive range of 568 kilometers. For more details on the Polestar 2 or any other car, head on to sgcarmart.com to help you make the smart choice on your next car. Now, seeing as this is a facelifted model, we're gonna just focus on the upgrades. If you haven't yet watched the first video, you can do so by clicking on here or here, one of these corners where the video will be. Now, down here is a brand new grille where previously it was a black kind of boxed out grille. Now you get this white piece, and I think it looks better. It almost looks like the filter on a wheel, but with this cut out and it even says mid-range radar, I think normally it wouldn't do well to point out what these are by putting text, but the way they've done it is just so subtle and elegant, and it just looks really well. I think if you get a Polestar 2, it has to be white. So the contrasts against these black bits look really, really good. Now, over on the side, you'll notice brand new 20-inch rims in this performance pack. Now, Polestar's performance pack used to be for the top trim Polestar 2. Right now, it's standard for the NY24 Polestar. You're gonna get brand new golden brake calipers, golden seat belts, as well as Orleans dual flow valve dampers. That gives the car a harsher ride so you feel the road more because performance. Now, I have to touch on this again. Beautiful frameless mirrors with auto dipping when you're reversing. And then down here, 82 kilowatt hour is also an upgrade to the battery size from 78 kilowatt hours, so you get slightly more range. Now let's check out the rear. Now, over by the rear, you get very beautiful lights right here in this double C shape and one line across. In a time and age where everyone's doing horizontal lines, I think they do it really well because I'm not a design guy. I couldn't tell you why, but the way they've done it looks really good. Now you open up the power tailgate from here. 400 plus liters worth of boot space, not something super impressive, but what I really like is this lift back aperture. So throwing things in, even with those, especially without this tonneau cover, is going to be really easy. Now your anti-trolley length test, no problem at all. If you want more space, open up these here to put a little pocket. But being kind of long, you know, if you want to knock down the seat from here, it is going to be quite a reach. Now let's check out the inside. Oh, and one more thing, charging your car up is going to be right here, kind of like a gas cap. Now it takes Type 2 CCS and DC fast charging, going up to 205 kilowatts. Now over in the rear, because of its fastback shape, you can see it's going to be quite a little bit of squeeze with the sloping roofline on top, the batteries down below. I am 1.75 meters tall, and this is pretty much the headspace that I'm going to be getting. It is pretty much touching the roof. You're gonna have to slouch a bit. At least the glass roof does kind of help it extend the space because you can see the sky and it doesn't feel that cramped. Now, in terms of amenities, you're gonna get grab bars, a thoughtful little hook for your takeaway items, a touch light, magazine holder, rear aircon, very important, and 2 USB-C fast charging. If there's nobody in the middle shifting over, it is going to be quite a squeeze because of this very high transmission tunnel owing to the platform that it is using. So sitting here, you're gonna squeeze. It's gonna be quite a squeeze with your friends if there's 5. If not, if there's only 4 people shifting back, you can pull this out for a nice little armrest with cup holders. Now, onto the front. Now over in the cockpit of the Polestar 2, it feels a little bit snug because they have this very large center console. Now it does look and feel nice. They have accents of fabric all over the interior, a very nice 11.6-inch matte infotainment display with their own proprietary UI UX. It looks fantastic. Everything is glossy, it's well done, it's refined. This little shifter here is just wow. And then if you actually pay attention on the top here, this little ledge has a little logo display shining light so it reflects off the moonroof. And there's a very subtle Polestar design here. Everything is just so nicely designed. You come in here and just feels so peaceful, so at peace. And then the Harman Kardon speakers. So when you go for a night cruise with this machine, it's just really, really nice, everything. Black is really the correct color for this because first of all, it contrasts with the clean white outside. Very nice contrast. Secondly, with the performance pack, your Swedish gold seat belts. These just look fantastic. Over by your steering wheel though, it is a very typical Volvo Polestar kind of design. You have your volume and song controls here. You have your Volvo Pilot and cruise control controls here. Your dashboard is going to be very nicely designed, very sharp. You well integrated with your Google systems, and I'll touch a little bit on that more later. But everything else is just looks really clean, really good to use, and just overall a really very calming presence. Very nice to be here. And some of the very thoughtful designs like this, check out this glove box. If you open this up, you can actually fold away this hook. And I think this is especially useful for ladies if you are the passenger princess. You just hang your handbag here. If you're not, you could just hide away. And overall, just a very nice space. Now, in terms of looks, it's gonna be pretty much the same. The interior hasn't really been touched up, but I want to touch on the engine, or rather the motors. This has a set of new dome motors that have upgraded brake horsepower output, so it's about 67 more brake horsepower, pushing it 0 to 100 timing now to 4.2 seconds. But why don't we find out on the road? Yep. This Polestar says comes with a new set of motors that allow it for more versatile driving. So it actually offers some similar to your RS3, some torque splitting at the rear. Does that mean it comes with a drift mode? Well, actually, no plans for that. That's what Polestar said, which is, I find, a little bit wasteful, if not ironic, because if you looked at the Polestar 2 performance pack, they came out with an Arctic edition, and that was really cool. They slammed the Polestar through some snow tracks, and it was just drifting and like going sideways. With that potential, if you put that into a drift mode in this, I think it would just be a perfect fit. But if not anything, it is still breakneck fast. It is addictive, and I think very quickly one of the first things it brings back to mind is compared to the Seal, the BYD Seal dual motor, this feels a little bit more planted, this feels a little bit more chunky. The power delivery on this is a little bit, the power is there, but when you slam on the accelerator, there's a little bit, just the tiniest of fractions of a second where it's a little bit delayed. And I remember feeling this when you compare the previous Polestar 2 to the XC40 or the C40 electric, recharged rather. And yeah, for those cars, when you slam it, you actually feel, but you feel that a little bit more raw power delivery compared to this. So the power is there, it's plenty of power, and I really love the power, but it does have a little bit more of a refined, careful feeling to it. It's holding you back a little bit almost. And that kind of brings me to the next point. Like, driving the Polestar 2, it's not just a car, it's not just fast electric, it's a lifestyle. It's refined, it's fantastic, and that's because I feel like, in my opinion, it is the CEO of Polestar was from, if I remember correctly, it was a very high-level design executive, and that's why everything Polestar, everything that has to do with Polestar is just fantastic. It's just bespoke and feels like they're just doing it perfectly just for you. even the showrooms, or they don't even call it showrooms, they turn it into an interactive exhibit, a museum. You step in and it has that Swedish beauty, that feel, everything like that flows into the car as well. I feel like every time I step into the car, all my problems melt away. I am just enjoying the road. I am just cruising in this boat, attacking the high seas, the open seas, not a care in the world. That's what the Polestar 2 gives me, and it's hard to put into words. It's not all roses. There are some things that I feel like that's some of its shortfalls. Number one is it does feel kind of cramped, because after all, the Polestar 2 is built on the I forgot the acronym, the platform that other ICE models uses. So there is a transmission tunnel in the rear, even though it's a EV with two motors. Not so much a lot of space here if you compare this to the Ioniq 5, which uses its E-Global Modular Platform, eGMP. So that one is very, very spacious. It's like a living room. And I can't wait to see what they do with the Polestar 3, because that is one of the shortcomings right here. The Polestar 2 kind of feels like a little bit cramped. It's nicely designed. Your 11.6-inch infotainment system here, your wireless charging, everything falls into place. In fact, I have two cup holders. I can slot my wallet here. Everything's very well designed, but the space is just a little bit smaller if you compare it to other things. Another gripe is that this is an 11.6-inch Android OS infotainment system, so it's Android based. It's made by Google, but it doesn't run Android Auto. That's a big thing. In 4 or 5 years ago, cars that don't come with Android Auto, they're the norm, and cars that come with Android Auto, it's a bonus. But today, cars that come with Android Auto is the norm. So here's the kicker: it has Apple CarPlay wireless, but Android Auto that's not even wired. It doesn't have Android Auto. To be fair, it does have Google Maps built in, so you actually don't need to use your phone to use Google Maps. You can just, hey Google, take me to Changi Airport.
Navigating to Singapore Changi International Airport, SIM.
And then I select my specific destination at T1, T2, and it's all integrated very, very well. I'm seeing 46% on arrival, so that's telling me with the distance towards Changi Airport. So the map has now transferred over to my instrument cluster. I like this. Like the maps, I see my direction on the instrument cluster. It's telling me where to go. It's telling me how much battery I'll have when I arrive there, estimated. The integration is done really well. So because it is a Google system, it works, it communicates well with all the Google products. But not having Android Auto is a little bit. So it's in a sense forgivable. There's YouTube, there's Google Maps, but it's just a little bit of gripes here and there. Now, in terms of noise handling, I feel like this takes it a step above the regular ones. Like other electric vehicles in this segment, they do enough. They do mute out the outside, but this encapsulates you. It's quiet. It's just, you really feel like a passenger to the world. You're just taking it all in. It's quiet. You're muted from the outside world. Bothers of the world don't bother you. It is really heavy. The battery is all planted below. It has an improved battery compared to the pre-facelift, so slightly longer range and also better efficiency, Polestar says. And it all together still feels really planted, and together with its dual motors, it really puts you up into some very dangerous thoughts, some very playful thoughts whispering into your mind. Because it's so stable, it's so grounded, more so than the usual even EV, because EVs, battery below, yada yada, feels planted, but this feels extra planted, and the fastback form just gives you so much more confidence to jigsaw your way through traffic. It's like everyone else is standing still when you have this amount of power. And I like that Polestar 2 is making it more affordable to most people. Yeah, 320,000 isn't that cheap. It's not cheap, but for the power that it's bringing, it's still making it accessible to a lot more people. Now, so with all that said, is this car a will buy, won't buy, or go try? Well, I really like this car. This car is actually a go try for me because this car comes in at some 320,000. It's not for me. I don't, even if I had that money, I wouldn't put that kind of money into this car because the delta between this and the, let's say the BYD Seal dual motor performance, it is some, I believe, $70,000. So that's a big delta. But personally, I wouldn't. Maybe because right now I'm still like way off of that mark. Maybe if I'm at that mark, I would. But I can really appreciate and see why someone would pay that much for this because of the insulation, the way it's done up. It just feels so much more refined and so much more luxurious and upmarket. It really does feel like the way everything is designed, the wood accents here, it really does give you a peace of mind. It's a different lifestyle. Walking up to your car and seeing like, I'm not just driving an EV, I'm driving a piece of art. It looks that good. It's quiet, it's refined, and the whole Polestar experience, like the experience center, their showrooms, you're buying into that. You're buying a Polestar, you're buying into that. And that's why I feel like even though it's that much more expensive, it's not a won't buy because I can appreciate why it's like that, and I can see why people would like that. So that's why this car is a go try. And that's our review of the Polestar 2 model year 24. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know down in the comments below, as well as any other car that you'd like to see us try out. Do let us know in the comments below and we'll read every single one of these. Now, if you've made it this far, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to us and hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our future uploads. And lastly, please follow us on TikTok here at Sgcarmart. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. I am attempting. Maybe for Julian it'll be easier. Now onto the rear. The mirror. This facelift. Now today we're looking at the model year 2024 Polestar 2, and it's got quite a few upgrades. So it's not really right to call it a facelift, is it? But let's check it out.